In our first episode, we're thrilled to introduce Summa Stacey, a trailblazing first-time coach out of the East Devonport Football Club. As the coach of the Northwest Under-14 Girls representative side, Summa embodies the passion and commitment inspiring the next generation of female footballers. Her journey into coaching reflects the transformative nature of AFL and new voices coming into the sport, creating a supportive and inclusive environment that is thoroughly enjoyed by her players. Join us as we delve into Summer's experiences, challenges and aspirations, showcasing her vital role in shifting the goalposts in women's football in Tasmania. Shifting the goalposts. We've got to start somewhere, and what better place to start than with a first-time coach? And we are delighted to have Summer Stacey with us as our first-time coach and our first guest on Shifting the Goalposts. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good. We are here to understand your journey through football, be it long, short. I'm presuming it's going to be short because you are a first-time coach. But tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your club and the age group that you're coaching at the moment.
So growing up, AFL wasn't a big sport for us. So we're from Queensland. I grew up in Queensland, so obviously we played a bit of rugby. And then coming down to Tasmania, it wasn't much opportunity for rugby down here. So we started getting into AFL a bit more, and I played it through my younger years. And then I broke my foot pretty severely. I broke it in 5 places and shattered one of the bones. So I got 8 screws in plate, and that ended my football career quite quickly. So then after that, I just stopped playing football, and it was all over for me. So then my little sister, Lily, she's 12 now. She plays for the under-14 girls. Her team was looking for a coach. So the East Devonport Football Club president, John Phoebe, gave me a ring, and he said, "Oh, do you want to coach?" And I sort of like, "What? Why do you want me to coach?" Sort of thing. I had never done it before. I'd never done anything like it before, and I thought about it for a couple of days, and I rang him back, and I was like, "All right, I'll give it a shot." And here I am today doing it, and it's been a bit of a journey going through it, and it's awesome.
You mentioned there that you asked yourself why me?
Yeah.
Was there a pivotal moment that got you across the line, or that was it engaging with your younger sister in that age group, or was it an opportunity that was too good not to take her?
I think when I started playing football, I realised how much I actually enjoyed it, and not being able to play AFL anymore really was upsetting. So I was like, well, if I can't play it, the next best thing I can do is to coach it and, pass the skills I've learned over the years of playing football to these girls. And, being able to help them and teach them AFL is something I've really enjoyed doing, and I'm glad to have got that role.
Did you see yourself as a potential coach prior to being asked?
No way would I ever thought that I would have gone up and, started coaching 18, 20 plus girls, like, through a season of football, and I would never ever would have thought about that was going to be me.
So, how's the season going for you? Are you enjoying it? Are there harder times and better times? And is it what you expected?
Well, I came into it very open minded. Being this age group under 14 girls, I came into it very open minded, and it's not at all what I thought it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be a little bit more challenging than it was. Not saying we don't have challenges, but especially with this age group, you have to be so open minded, because you've got people coming from all different backgrounds, and you just can't pick them apart with where they're coming from, and it's a big step, trying to coach all these different girls, and they're all different skill levels, and some of them might not be able to kick a football where others can boot it 20 metres. So it definitely has been challenging trying to teach these girls all the different skills they need to play a game, but, it's pretty awesome.
When you're actively coaching these girls, do you cast your mind back to when you were that age and going through sports and stuff, and are you able to then potentially deliver something differently based upon that fact that you have been through that.
Yep. So I won't sit there and put the girls down because there's nothing worse than someone sitting there and telling you all the bad things you've done. That's the last thing any
It's
14.
not really coaching.
No, it's not. No, it's the last thing a 14-year-old wants to hear these days. You know, there's so many negative things going on around the place, around the world, and stuff like that. That when they come to football, you want to make them feel welcome and feel like they can be here. So you know, constructive criticism is a big thing I use. In a way that I deliver that message to the girls because, like I said, when I was playing football, that's the last thing I'd want anyone to do is sit there and bag me out for not being able to kick a football or mark something. So I think it's just the way you deliver that message to them and the way you word it and the way you speak to them.
Yep. You mentioned you broke your foot.
Yeah.
That's obviously a significant
Yep.
obstacle.
Yes.
How has that shaped you, potentially as a person, but probably more importantly as a coach, to now be able to deliver a message or have some compassion for someone in the game?
Yep. So, understanding everyone's different abilities. So I know we've had a few girls this season that have been out to injuries. You know, not pushing themselves and making sure they do what they can do because maybe they may injure all the time, like sitting with here. It's something you have to kind of deal with and adapt to. So when I broke my foot, obviously you need a foot to be able to play football. So, you know, just adapting to everyone's ability to be able to use that to an advantage rather than negative and sitting them out or whatnot. If someone's injured, you know, give them another job they can do. Put them in a water boy or the runner or little jobs like that.
So you say it very much put it. You said as a learning curve rather than an obstacle.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. I don't think of it as an obstacle. Like it is a big thing to, you know, break a bone or hurt yourself, but it is something that can, you know, people can get over and you can get around it.
Yeah. And I know I asked this being a coach myself and trying to fit everything in. What does a typical week look like for you? Is there a stock standard procedure, or are you dealing with a lot of moving parts?
All right. So get up in the morning about 6 o'clock. Leave work 7 o'clock. I live in Deloraine, so it's a bit of a drive, about an hour drive to get to work. You know, go to work every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 6 is when we do our football trainings. So we get the girls in, you know, do our warm-up drills and then, you know, get going home and then, start planning for Thursday and see what we can come up for some drills. So it is very much a schedule, but it can be different. And it can be, you know, some days you're just like, oh, I don't want to get up today. Like, oh, I got football training. And I'm like, no, I'm not football training. These girls come in here because they want me to coach them. So I get out and go do it.
And the support framework around you, have you got some good assistants or parents or the club itself as far as engaging with them to assist you?
Honestly, I couldn't have chosen a better club to come and coach for my first time. Like our president, John Phoebe, he's absolutely a brilliant mentor. And Christy, sorry. Oh no, poor person. Christy, our youth coordinator, absolutely, you know, without her would be sort of stuck with what we're doing. And I've got a few people, a few of the parents have got a few, we had the match manager from the under-12 step up to our match manager, and he's been an absolute threat throughout the whole season. But, you know, the club and all, it's been so supportive. You know, and getting onto Player HQ and, you know, things like the AFL website where if I am stuck with a drill, I'm like, oh, how can we get over it? There are definitely a lot of resources there that we can use as a coach if you are unsure, which is really, really good.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's good to hear that.
Yep.
Obviously, we're sitting on the boundary line at Girdleston Park at the moment, the East Devonport home ground. It is arguably one of the largest grounds in Tasmania. Would it be fair to say that the East Devonport players are potentially some of the fittest players going around, given the lengths they have to run on a game day?
I wouldn't necessarily call all of our players the fittest, but they probably are some of
Work the hardest.
Yeah, they're the most driven players that I can, you know, say. That's a bit biased coming as a coach, but
no, you're allowed to say that about your own players.
They are definitely a very driven bunch of kids from the Oz kids all the way up to the under-16s. they get here, they put in their effort for an hour, and then they go home and get ready to do it all again. And it's that love that these kids have. You know, they can come and do it every day, and they just love the sport.
Absolutely. I know it's been a short career so far, but has there been a memorable moment in your coaching career or in um, around the club or with an individual or?
Um, I think the biggest thing is, watching the girls grow, and if we have a girl that can only kick 5 meters at the start of the season and she can now kick 20, that itself's a pretty big achievement. So, I'd like to say, watching all these girls grow and watching them adapt and overcome all these obstacles and challenges they have been thrown at them. Because, as a club, I know that under the girls' side, it's been tricky getting girls into this side, and especially this part of the area and this club. So bringing people along has been quite challenging, but it's definitely brilliant.
It is often.
Yeah.
I speak to a lot of coaches. It's often not necessarily the game day wins or losses, or it's the learnings, but it's also the people that you meet.
Yeah.
And football is littered with quality people.
Yeah, I'm just seeing some of these parents jump in as well and joining and training makes me like, oh yeah, no, I've done my job. I'm making fun of those girls, and the parents jumping in and having a kick with their kicks. An awesome thing to sit back and and watch them do.
Fantastic.
I could only dream of playing this game.
Coaching this game.
Umpiring this game.
I had no idea my little girl was going to be a professional athlete.
What opportunities were out there.
Trading the lounge room for the locker room.
The earbuds for a whistle.
I never dreamt that there was a future for me in footy.
But here I am.
How good?
How good is this?
Footy is more than just a game. It's a place of connection, it's a place of community, it's a place of exciting possibilities. We all have a place in footy. Join us. Check out AFL Tas's website now.
Looking ahead and looking at where progression for you as a coach, do you have any personal goals that you hope to achieve through coaching? And do you ever reflect on your broader role within, and I know without putting pressure on you, but you are a figurehead to a lot of these girls, and how that resonates with you?
So
Personal goals. So,
Yeah.
and you may not have any. Being a first-time coach, it may just simply be completing the task, getting to the end of the season, and developing the individual players. But I'm not sure whether you've given it any thought that this might be a progression, that one day we might see Summa coaching the state women's team or something.
I've actually never really thought about it. I've just sort of thought, I'll stick to my club and I'll stick to the girls. But it's something I haven't thought about. But I'd like to go as far as I can with football. Obviously, hoping to play again. But just don't want to rush myself into it that quick. But yeah, I'd like to get up there and coach, the big girls and stuff like that. But if I make it there or not, I'm not sure. But I'll definitely work and strive towards it.
And do you think that is that pathway clear to you, or is it something that you think is accessible this day and age with women and girls coaching in Tasmanian football, or are there still some hurdles that we have to overcome as a football community?
I just think the word's not widespread enough for it. Like, you hear your kids playing football, you hear your sister's kid playing football, but you don't have a lot of spotlight on these coaches. So this is why this series is so good, because it's really bringing out some of the female leaders and role models for these girls. But I definitely think it's there. I just think the word needs to get spread out a bit more to, highlight and highlight some of these people and the job they're doing, because, it's not a lot of things people know about. Like this is, I wouldn't like to say male dominant sport, but it is.
I think it is.
Yeah,
And it has historically always been.
And that's the thing, just not having that stigma around being, it's a boys' sport, girls this, girls that. I think it's approaching it the right sort of angle, where you're not trying to make it too I don't know what the word is, too based around the idea of it just being, females get into this, females do this, females do that. Just having that good balance between the male and female and just making it AFL, not men's AFL.
Being on a level thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So have us at the same level. So, yeah, that's the easiest way to say it.
And value you for your role within football, what
Yeah.
you contribute to it, rather than based on a sex component.
That's exactly right.
What changes or advancements have you seen in women's football since you started? So has the level of appreciation increased or decreased?
Yep.
And where do you think those areas of improvement can still exist?
Yeah. So I definitely know that at our club that, we don't base it around, girls and boys football. We base it purely on football. And it's not about us as coaches. It's really not. It's about, these young kids getting out there and having a kick the football and making it. But just getting away from that stigma, like I was saying before, of having it women's football. Like, you don't see it that much, and people are just still so scared to jump into these things, being it like such a male dominated sport, and it has always been back since when AFL was a thing. You don't, but yeah, just highlighting it to the right extent of where it needs to be, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are we? How do you think women have always been a huge part of the game, albeit not necessarily in the spotlight? How do you think the increased involvement and recognition of women in the game, particularly through the induction of AFLW and now the platform that has, how do you think the involvement and recognition of women in AFL has impacted the sport overall?
I don't necessarily think that's more based around the coaches or the players. It's, the mums, the grandmas, aunties that, you get around and, if without your mum, you're not going to get to training, or without that female figure,
let's be honest, the mums do a hell of a lot.
Well, make sure you have breakfast, make sure you have your water bottle, make sure your socks are clean and your jerseys are clean. So without those, your parents, it's a big thing to get along to these sports and into the volunteering. But I'm
going to pull out a crystal ball here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to look into the future a little bit. Where do you see women's football in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
What are your hopes for the future?
Yeah. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I'd really like to see women's football being up there, with men's football. Playing at the same levels, having as much, advertisement on it as much.
Potentially playing at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, not earlier in the day.
Yeah, that's right. Getting right up there next to the males football and the men's football up there, and having it more. I don't even think the word more spotlighted.
Yep. Valued.
Yeah,
yep.
More valued as sport.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other hopes for the future of women and girls in AFL football? Whether it be at East Devonport, the Northwest, Tasmania?
Yeah. A goal that I'd really like for this club is definitely to get a women's side. I know East Devonport Club hasn't had a women's side in a very, very long time, and that's something I'd really like to get achieved in here, whether I play it or whether I coach it. But I'd really love to get a side here for the women's, because it's just, you hear all these other sides, and you just want to play, but I want to play for my club.
I think that's a really admirable driver to be able to have a goal like that to work towards. And I think probably throw out the challenge to East Devonport. Yeah. Let's get it done at some point in the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have any advice for young girls or women who are interested in getting involved in AFL, whether it's players, coaches, or in other roles?
I want to say yes, it is as hard as it looks. Like, sometimes, we can make it look easy, but running around making sure everyone's got their jerseys, their right numbers, it is as hard as it looks. But just at the end of the day, it's all about, watching, the girls mark that or kick that goal, and just the happiness you see on their faces. That's what makes it really worth it for me. And them just improving on their football and how much they love playing AFL.
What role do you think the community and local clubs can play in supporting the growth of women's footy?
So being able to host sort of more gala days and more come try days, and getting down there and supporting and putting it out there that we can use more players, and we're never going to be short of numbers.
Have you had to place any pressure on friends or family that weren't players or involved that you've had to coerce them into come along, it's fun, or
I wouldn't necessarily say coerce them, but give it a kick, and if football's not for them, it's not for them. So, and I know it's a sport that's not for everybody, but the girls who do come and have brought a friend along really enjoy it.
And the under 14 girls that you're coaching now, how many of them have played previously, or how many of them are new to the game this year?
So we have had a large number of girls that are quite new. So we've had the group of girls. I'd say we've had about 5 or 6 girls from this club that played last year, and the group that are quite new are at first, couldn't handle or couldn't kick, but now you watch a club of them kick goals, and it's really good to see that.
And when they kick a goal, they're celebrating pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. They all get around each other. It's really good to see that sort of environment and sportsmanship, I guess. Yeah.
Who's been your biggest supporter and mentor through your football coaching? You mentioned before John Phoebe.
Yeah. One of our match managers, James O'Connor, he's really been a rock throughout this whole thing, along with all the people at the club. But as my biggest supporter, I reckon it would have to be James. He's, we had a few issues at the start of the season, and I felt like I could go there and talk to him about it. But, he really made things happen, and he makes a difference, and, comes up with ideas. So it's been really good. And my little sister, Lily, I really look up to her. Even though I'm a bigger sister, I really look up to her as a role model, because she's playing some really good football at the age that she's playing at. And it's hard as a coach because she is my sister, and I want to be able to promote these things for her, but just have to find that fine balance between
that's
favoritism
fantastic.
and
That's great. She'll love hearing that. Have you got any pre-game, but whether as a player or as a coach, have you got any pre-game rituals or superstitions? Or have you got a potentially as a coach, have you got a one line that you deliver every game or every quarter without fail?
So on the back of my game board, we've got a big sticker that says never give up.
Yep.
I point that out to the girls every day. If we are getting beaten by, 50 points, 50 points, I just tell them, look at the board and, never give up, because that can get turned around real quick, and just don't stop chasing for that ball. As for pre-game rituals, a bit of Taylor Swift as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Did you manage to get to the mainland to go and see a concert? Or
I don't know how much of, but I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan.
I
didn't even really stress too much.
Oh, so it's on. It's on for the girls, is it? Oh, okay then.
Yeah. So I thought we'd go. Listen.
You need to sneak the song in there, and then a coach's choice or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love the fact that the sun's come out and we've stopped breathing some condensation out of our mouth and stuff. But one off the bat, who should we speak to next as far as women's and girls in footy? You got a suggestion off the cuff? I know I've hit this one with you very quickly.
Yeah, no, definitely get around to some more volunteers around the clubs that you see, and like our youth coordinators and people like that definitely need to have their word and their say in things like this, because they are the people who can make a difference and can make a change for the sport. And I'm just here to coach the girls. That's what I'm here to do. That's my job. And
don't ever undersell yourself.
Yeah.
You've been a fantastic guest today. Thank you so much for being our first guest on Shifting the Goalpost. We wish you all the luck. Best luck for the rest of the season. And we love what you're doing in community football. And I don't think it's validated enough. And I know some of us hate that validation, but you are doing a fantastic job. We need more of you. And thanks very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Yep. Go that way.